Good morning, day 24 of the mini cut. So today I woke up at 83.1 kg. So that is three new lows back. Okay, so today I woke up extremely happy. That's for one. And then I'm also very motivated, right? So just to share, yesterday before I went to bed, I sort of have a expectation. Although I say it's not good to have any expectations, right? But I did want to at least wake up below 84 kg, because usually how I see my weight is, you take a look at your last week's average, right? So mine was, I believe, if I'm not wrong, 84.2 or 3, something somewhere there. It's in the description box, right? But ideally, in order to make sure I'm moving towards the right direction, right, my weigh-ins for for this week compared to last week, it should be lower than the average weigh-in, if that makes sense. Okay, it's quite early, so my brain might not be functioning well. But yeah, so you just need your weight to be lower than last week's average, right? Then you will most likely be in a good position, right? So yeah, back to I was expecting, or rather hoping that I wake up below 84 kg, right? If not, I want to go and do cardio, okay? Because like I said, I don't want to drop calories because I want to be eating as much as possible to maintain muscle, right? But doing low intensity cardio, right, I will be maximizing the amount of fat, right? Today is a rest day also, so usually currently for this mini cut, on rest days I do not do any cardio, right? But I figure, why not, since everything has been very easy so far, why not just add extra cardio? It couldn't hurt, right? So that was my plan. So today I woke up at 83.1 kg, way lower than my expectation. That is why I was super happy. So it could go another way, right? If my expectation was 84 and below, if let's say I woke up at 84.1, right, how would that affect my motivation and stuff, right? So this is the reason why that it's best to try to be neutral and let the diet and everything do its job. So yeah, what I want to talk to you guys about. Oh yeah. Okay, so here's the funny thing, right? So yesterday my rules, let's say if I wake up below 84, then I don't need to do cardio today. But above 84, then I will go and do. Okay, for the cardio, nothing too crazy lah. It's just like 30 minutes, low intensity, just to burn some extra fat. Okay. But the thing is, when I wake up at 83.1 kg, I was, the motivation that it gave me made me want to do the cardio regardless, right? So it seems the fact that whether I wake up above or below 84 kg, I still want to do the cardio, right? But here's the thing, right? So you want to stop, you want to be able to control yourself from doing more as well, okay? Because like I said, when it comes to fat loss, right, that is a maximum amount of fat you can lose per week without eating into your muscle, right, and without losing muscle, right? So at the rate I am going, I'm definitely more than well above that range lah, I feel, based on the weigh-ins. Okay, so ideally try to maintain everything as per normal first. Okay, then I will add cardio when necessary. So today I think it's important to talk about how to exactly break through fat loss plateaus, right? So if you have been following this whole entire journey, right, from day one, you have known that last week I experienced sort of a plateau. It's more like a regression lah. Okay, I took one step back. Okay, but this is due to the cheat meal that I had. Okay, so definitely sometimes when we are tracking everything meticulously, right, we are able to pinpoint and identify what is the exact cause that is causing this fat loss plateau. Okay, but let's assume that you are doing everything perfect, right? Okay, so let me give you an example. So our goal has always been 1% body weight loss per week, right? So maybe week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4, you have been losing that amount, right? Suddenly week 5, you suddenly plateau. Okay, so like you didn't lose 1%. Okay, if you're still losing, okay, it's not really considered a plateau lah. Okay, but let's say you did not lose anything or weight even went up, right? So firstly, like I said, if you pinpoint, if you analyze everything and you have been doing everything consistently, okay, not sometimes even doing more may not be, people may say, may think that it may give you more result, but that may not be necessarily true, because when you do more, your body is being put under stress, then it can hold water as well. Okay, so that is something to take note of. Okay, so the next step that I'm going to talk about is uh, provided you have been doing everything consistently. That means from day one, your calories have been the same. Ideally, the same kind of food source, but if you are quite flexible in the sense, right, then at least the calories and macros are similar, lah. Okay, then plateau. What to do, right? So let's say week 1 to week 4, you have been losing good 1% body weight per week. Suddenly week 5, you stall, didn't lose any weight, right? So firstly, for those who are new to dieting, right, or for those who have experienced dieting before, sometimes when this happen, it's not necessary a plateau. Okay, it may seem like it from the body weight standpoint, right? Okay, but it could be just your body holding water. Okay, because okay, let's talk about the science behind it, right? So for example, week 1 to week 4, you have been losing 1% of body weight. Suddenly week 5, you stop losing. Okay, your metabolism don't adapt so quickly in the sense that you are not losing any body fat anymore, right? So likelihood is you are still losing body fat. Okay, but what happens is sometimes when you lose this fat, right, the fat cells are still there. Okay, fat cells truly never disappear, right? They only shrink and stuff. So what is most probably happening is when you lose this fat, right, your fat cells are still there, right? Then as a result, when the fat is gone, the water takes over its place. Okay, then depending on like your sleep, your training, your so many factors that can affect like water retention, right? Your sodium level, your stress level, your cortisol and stuff, right? You may hold water in these fat cells. So for these fat cells, sometimes it will take like a couple of days to weeks to see a sudden big drop. That is when the fat cells starts to shrink, then they will flush out all the water that is been holding. So this could be the exact thing that happened to me, right? So if you notice, like I had 3 back-to-back low days, right? So this is just a perfect example of like my body flushing out the water from the fat cells. Another thing to take note, right, is let's say you plateau only on week 5, but you have been making consistent progress on for the past 4 weeks. Okay, don't rush into dropping calories just yet, because like I said, you want to give your body some time to determine whether is it the fat cells that is holding the water before dropping calories. Because like I said, the best you can do when dieting, right, is to try to lose as much weight as possible with a goal in mind lah. So like I said, that is a maximum amount of weight you can lose so that you can maximize fat and minimize muscle loss. So ideally 1% body weight per week is a good range for most people. If you are higher in body fat percent, you can go higher, 1.5% to 2%, right? But for most people, 1% should be the sweet spot. Okay, so with that in mind, right, you want to be basically eating as much. Okay, that will try to ensure you keep your metabolism healthy, right? So that you can cut as long as possible. Okay, then cutting it with as much calories also will maximize your performance in the gym. Okay, like we also talk about how we should be prioritizing a diet with carbohydrates to ensure that, okay, so that we do not lose muscle. And then it will also help with your diet fatigue, right? So people who are eating very low under their maintenance, right, then they will experience more of the negative side effects from dieting, like extreme cravings and extreme hunger, that kind of thing. So if you have less of these things, it's easier for you to maintain and stick consistent with your diet, right? And just take the slow and consistent 1% weight loss per week, right? Then you will be lean in no time while doing it sustainably. Okay? So that is one thing. So another thing is, okay, let me think about it first. So that is just from the body weight kind of standpoint, right? So this is the reason why we also take progress pictures so that we can be tracking our fat loss progress through visual. Because I think let's be real, we all want to transform our body or cut or lose body weight or lose body fat because we want to look good, right? So instead of focusing on the scale too much, although that tells us a lot about whether our what we are doing is working or not, right? Focus on the progress picture, because ultimately, like I also yesterday I just told one of my clients, right? It doesn't matter what your body fat percentage is, but it matters how much you look. Some people can be measuring at 10 to 12%, right? But they don't look 10 to 12%, versus someone who could be like 15% but they look 10 to 12. I'm sure most of you out there, right? Unless you are obsessed with numbers or for some reason, right? I won't judge, but we all want to look the part of the body part, the fat percent that we want, right? Rather like how much you actually weigh or like what is the actual number. Okay, so this is the reason why progress pictures is important, because let's say if you are not losing weight on the scale, right? For beginners, this could be the case because you can still build muscle and lose fat at the same time. So sometimes maybe when you are pushing it in the gym and everything is consistent and good, right? You may be gaining muscle, right? And then losing fat. So what this does is like your weight doesn't move, right? But your body looks significantly better because the muscle is being built, the fat is being lost, right? It's like a body recomposition happening, right? So naturally, uh visually you will look way better. So isn't that what we are all after, right? So sometimes fat loss plateaus or like results is not just on the numbers itself, right? But rather, are you making improvements to your physically, right? So that is another thing to take note of. Okay, how to see, really is like, of course, if you don't have the coach, you are doing this yourself, then ultimately you are living in your own body, so you should be, what improvements or difference are you happy with? Okay, then you own self make that decision whether you want to drop calories or not. Okay, but like I said, best not to drop it so quickly, especially if you have been making good steady progress for the past couple of weeks. Then it's only like this 1 week that you are stalling and stuff, right? Okay, even if you had a cheat meal that result in this, like me, right? So what I did is I did not change anything. I just continue the plan as per normal. And then suddenly it will just flush out everything. Okay, so like I say, don't rush into dropping calories, right? I see a lot of people online is like they say if you don't lose this weight, immediately drop. Okay, I did like last time. Okay, for like I believe one of my cut, because but that was for competition prep also. So yeah, I drop calories every week because I want to make sure my metabolism is not adapting at all. Okay, what happens was at the end of the diet, right? That could be because I got super shredded lah. But then at all of the diet, right? Just going to the mall to walk, right? I almost fainted lah in the mall. Let's put it, my energy level was only sufficient to go to the gym. And then with the gym session itself, I also had to use a pre-workout. And then because I also time my diet my nutrition around the gym. So basically that is, I don't think that's a life that most people like to live lah, unless you are planning to compete, right? But if we are all doing this for a lifestyle thing, then we want to try to be maximizing the energy. Okay, so the only time that I would say is a good indication that you should be dropping your calories or increasing cardio is when, let's say, you have been losing a steady progress of like 1% body weight for week 1, week 2, week 3. Suddenly week 4, that progress cuts to half. Okay, then week 5, week 6, it maintains that half. Okay, that is a very clear sign that your metabolism is adapting to that new calories, right? So, like I said, when it comes to maintenance calories, right, everybody think that is a set number, right? But the thing, our metabolism is forever adapting. Okay, the calculator will give you a good estimation of someone of your body weight and height. How much should your maintenance be based on that, right? But sometimes different muscle mass, different diet habits, right? So it can adapt up or down, right? This is why, like I said, okay, I keep repeating because this is very important. This is really something that cause many people to fail because they keep dropping their calories too low. So when your metabolism adapts too low, then it will have a new low threshold. Then it will make you very difficult to lose weight. Then this is where people give up. Can you imagine? Let's say you have a lot of weight to lose, 50 pounds for example, and then you drop, you are not even halfway done that, but your maintenance calorie is like 1,500 already. Then, how are you going to sustain the remaining 30 pounds? And the thing is, the leaner you get, right, the harder is it on your body to lose that kind of fat, right? So, as you are, for most people, 1% is the goal, right? But eventually, you want to be even slower, okay? Because when you're leaner, then the chances of your body tapping into your muscle to use that energy is higher, right? So that is another topic for another day, right? But like I said, most importantly is try to eat as much as possible, okay? Then when to drop, right? So like I said, week 1, week 3, let's say you're losing 1%, okay? Week 3 to week 5, maybe you are dropping half of that. So ideally you want to give yourself at least 2 weeks of data to see whether is that a consistent occurrence. Okay, sometimes even longer lah. Okay, like I said, if visually you are not looking leaner also, then maybe that is also another confluence to say that, okay, I think it's time to drop calories, okay, or increase cardio, right? So how much to drop, right? You can do the math, right? Let's say if it's half, okay, so my rule, although it's not super accurate, right, but it's roughly that. It's like every 100 calories of deficit you have per day, right, whether is it from cardio or diet, right, okay, it will result in roughly a 0.1 kg, okay, of weight loss or fat loss per week additional. So let's say if for myself I'm looking for 0.8 and then my fat loss dropped to 0.5, honestly I won't even change anything because 0.5, like I said, is still dropping, right? Because sometimes as you go along, this is what I notice for my body, right? I can't say for everybody, but as I get leaner, my body becomes more efficient in using fat for energy. Then that's when I will have sudden spikes in fat loss. Okay, so it can be 0.5, suddenly it can be 1 kg sometimes. Okay, this is why as long as I'm dropping a good amount, right, I don't mind keeping. But let's say for you, if you have more fat to lose, right, then you need to be sticking to the 1%, right? Because like I said, we don't want to stay in the diet for too long also to accumulate the diet fatigue, right? So 1% should be your goal, right? So if that doesn't happen, then what you want to do is to find out what is the shortfall from the 1% goal. So for example, let's say if I'm 0.5, target is 0.8, right? So that is 0.3 kg per week shortfall that I need. So how I do it is like I can either drop 300 calories per day from my diet. So right now if I'm eating 2.4, I'll drop to 2.1. Okay, and then this 300 ideally usually I will see lah. So fats, maybe I will drop 100 calories from fats and then maybe 200 calories from carbs. So this one you can play around. Okay, then another thing is or I can do a hybrid, which is like diet plus cardio. So maybe 200 calories from the diet and then 100 calories from the cardio, right? So for cardio, I think it's important to calculate is you have to calculate based on per day. So either you do extra 10 minutes every day, or you can, okay, so if you want 100 calories for the whole week, right, that is 700 calories, correct? Yeah. So 700 calories is equivalent to around 17 minutes of low intensity cardio lah. Okay, so either you do 10 minutes every day, or you can split it up into 30 minutes, 30 minutes, 10 minutes. So however you split it up, you need to be doing the amount that week. Okay, But the thing about cardio is like, ideally try to do something that you can stick to it from a week to week basis and consistently lah. Okay, otherwise just remove it from your diet, the caloric deficit. Okay, then you see the cardio as a additional kind of thing. Okay, like for me, I will base on like how much I weigh and stuff, then see whether I want to do extra to boost that kind of thing, right? But that's basically it, right? So it's really quite simple in a sense that it's really just like basic math when it comes to losing fat. But then a lot of people get confused because they rush the process, or they are not, it's not clear lah, because like sometimes there's so many things that influence our body weight that we do not know what exactly is happening, right? But I've been doing this for so long and I was very obsessed with it at the start. That's why I read up a lot about stuff and so on, right? Okay, so this is the reason why I say don't rush into dropping first. Okay, monitor it and then drop when it's really necessary. Today is a rest day, no training at all. Tomorrow I will go back. Like I said, today when I woke up, 83.1 kg, motivation high, right? I wanted to do cardio, I want to go gym, I want to, that kind of thing. But, self-control in not doing too much is also a skill, okay? Like I said, the previous video, we talked about finding joy in the process, right? Sometimes when you find too much joy, okay, like myself, then rest days could be the torture lah. Okay, so I really hope that everyone can reach this point where you are dreading rest days, right? That is really, your results will come easy because you are actually enjoying what you're doing. So one day, if you reach that point, congratulations, okay? It's way better than any results that you can get. Because like I said, I've transformed my body so many times, right? Sometimes you get fat, sometimes you get super lean, right? I mean, there's ups and downs, but the joy you find in the process is something that is irreplaceable. Okay, there are periods in time where I just focus on like, my I go to the gym purely for like my mental health because it's really, I know it sounds ridiculous to some of y'all. Some people say they go to gym for like an outlet and stuff, right? But really, it's true. It's like a physical meditation for me. Okay, it was really a good thing. Back then, I did not really focus on any physical thing. I completely just go to the gym for right here. Okay, because I believe your mind should be definitely stronger than anything else lah. Because everything starts with the mind. Okay, whatever you want to accomplish in life, be it your physical transformation, monetary, or relationship, having a strong mindset will allow that to happen. Okay, so I will rest. Okay, and then I'll see you guys tomorrow.